Hello, fam, and welcome to another episode of 321 Presents. I am your host this week, Nick, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Zach.
Howdy, howdy.
And we have another, I will say it is a sportsful week this week. Many of the big stories. We've got playoffs in the NFL. We finally have a college national championship that I would love to talk about in the context of that sure seems like it's going to be a movie someday and probably not too far away.
Enter Sandra Bullock.
Yeah. But we'll work our way to that, our big meaty topic of the week this week. And we'll start. Did you have anything outside the world of sports this week?
I did not.
Same. It's been kind of quiet on the culture front, but let's talk about the big basketball news that shook the league up to start the week, and that was the rupturing of Jimmy Butler's ACL.
Very unfortunate. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on who you are, gives a little bit more fuel to the fire that they really go after MPJ, who we very intimately know here in the Denver area. There's also rumors talk maybe he gets traded down to Miami where they can get some pieces back. A lot of places for improvement to fill in Jimmy's spot. They are still having a little bit of a love-hate relationship with Kuminga, who they drafted not too long ago. I wanted to get paid. They said, what if we don't? And then no one in free agency even ultimately gave him sort of the offer he wanted anyway. So
ain't that just the way?
Some bet on yourself, and sometimes things don't go as well as you want.
Normally, you need to make sure that bet's going to pay off if you bet on yourself.
Usually, unfortunately for them, they're also not giving him enough playtime to make him a valuable asset or as valuable an asset as he could be.
Yeah, kind of a worst case scenario where like they're mad at him, he's mad at them.
Yeah, and it's just kind of
no one's maximizing anything.
No one's really that's the big thing is no one's maximizing. He wants to go somewhere else, but they're not playing him enough. But he's too moody to
play
anything.
Well with the minutes he is getting.
They're too moody for him to get any more extra minutes, except for when Jimmy went down. He did go out there and get some time and tick. He did end up rolling his ankle in a game, which he did not, I don't think, finish.
Oh, boy.
So it's trouble out there in the Golden State area. Honestly surprised that they are holding on as long as they can. The magician that Steph Curry is at the ripe old age of getting close to 40 because he's just a little bit younger than Braun. I can't.
37 or 38.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We're still fully capable human beings. Don't write us off. But no, I mean, that did sort of accelerate the do you just tank this season discussions. Are there enough straws to grasp at still?
They put so much into their championship windows and kind of stole another one that they may or may not have deserved.
Yeah, you can't if you look at Steph's run, he got his trophies.
Many a trophies, yeah. They just don't have anything worthwhile except for Kuminga, who really no one wants because he has a bad attitude and you don't really want that on your team. And we don't know what he can offer quite yet.
Speaking of someone with a bad attitude who wants off their team, what's the news on Ja Morant these days?
No one knows.
We know he doesn't want to be a Grizzly anymore.
It's been a weird sort of trade window, or when we should really be having all the transactions happening as we're going towards All-Star Weekend. No one really knows what's going on with old Ja over there. The Memphis is not really vibing with him, and he's not really vibing with Memphis. And that's all we really know. He should end up somewhere, but possibilities are maybe he doesn't because I don't think anyone has.
Of the options, he's not a very particularly he comes with a lot of baggage.
Oh, he comes with a lot of baggage, and the ask for him is going to be, I think, relatively high because what he is.
Because he was supposed to be the guy for the Grizzlies, and now that he's not, they're like, well, we got to get equivalent assets back.
I would say he was the guy until we started to get into some detrimental to the team type stuff and the suspensions, and then it's like, well, I can't really have you being the guy if we're out here doing all this other.
You got to be available to play if you're the guy.
Yeah, the availability is the best ability, unfortunately, and he has not been super available with the number of injuries that he's gone through, the suspensions. So he wants out, they want him out, but no one I think has value that is willing to give up anything for him quite yet.
That checks out, and we're still a couple weeks away from the trade deadline.
Yep. Yep. Can't forget about Chris Paul either. My man is
Oh,
still
sure.
sitting hostage out there in LA, just chilling.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Do we think he's gonna move by the deadline?
No clue. I have this is the weirdest time for the NBA because none of the teams that are really pushing for a championship really need anything, and everyone
And
who
yeah, because it's also a matter of what are your options out there? Is it going to be a worthwhile upgrade, or are you just making marginal little tweaks?
yeah, it feels like an SAT question out there. It's like, well, all of these are kind of the right answer, but there is one that's more right than the other. Am I gonna get that guy? And I think Gil said it, and a bunch of other media outlets said it for sports. Like nothing is kind of really happening, and no one knows if anything's gonna happen because everyone's still unsure about their team, and unless you are the teams who we know are really tanking. So Brooklyn, your Washingtons, your run of the mill garbage teams.
Your usual suspects.
Yeah, your usual suspects out there.
That checks out. What are our themes these days? We have held Pats continuing on in our Jokic-less days.
We are. He is nearing coming back here soon.
Yeah, I hear practices has started to ramp up now.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have been kind of on the. It's been like a weird piston sort of thing where people will be healthy and then they'll be hurt and then they'll be healthy and then hurt. I think it's a little bit of load management that they have going on over there. But we had P-Watt who got hurt in the game. He did come back and finish. Didn't see him the next day. In that same,
we've seen a lot of day on, day off type of stuff too.
Yeah, a little bit of piston movement here in the Denver area, which seems to be working out for the most part. We can't expect to win all those games because if the Pistons just don't move in the right way, it's a little unfortunate.
Yeah, you're trying to get a rhythm, and again, like we discussed, it's a good time in the schedule with a lot of Eastern team matchups. It's a little easier to throw out that starterless lineup when it's the Wizards and the Hornets, although that Hornets game was kind of ugly.
Yeah, we didn't have the right guys. The Lakers game that we played was pretty horrendous in my opinion. We were up big.
Oh yeah, that was
the game and just
the second half. Yeah, collapse.
Yeah, not a fan of that. Standings though, everything is still the same from when we talked about it last. Surprise, surprise. Nuggets are technically in third place now. They do have one more loss than the San Antonio Spurs with their alien over there, but ultimately the West is kind of a little bit stacked, and I don't foresee a whole lot of movement, especially since if we look at the players who are trying to get in, Suns just lost Devin Booker. He kind of had a horrendous ankle injury. Warriors don't have a Jimmy Butler, and unsure about Kuminga. Trailblazers are really outperforming what they're doing. Granted, they are missing their head coach, who eventually will have a trial on one of these days.
Yeah.
And then there's the Clippers, who no one really knows what's going on over there and are potentially in the midst or going to have a bunch of issues as the league continues to investigate their aspiration healing.
I wonder if the lack of roster movement over there is due to hey, don't go trying to move any money around or anything like that.
Unsure.
Behind the scenes sort of thing that they definitely wouldn't tell us about.
No. Never.
Well, very good. Any other basketball news we need to discuss this week?
I know we're coming up on All-Star Week. We have our teams set. The teams, I will say.
Oh, this is going to be World versus USA.
This is World against USA. And
one of the most lopsided looking starting five.
Well.
Okay, let's hear it.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. So, the World versus USA. The unfortunate part.
Fun idea.
We're gonna go out there and try to do some stuff. Unfortunately, a lot of the world players are very, very good.
Yeah, hockey tried this for a little bit, but they did North America versus the world so that they could fold America, Canada together.
I don't know how much that gives.
That's not a solution for basketball, but
no. The basketball gods did spread out the talent throughout the world. Unfortunately, they are very heavy.
I mean,
here in America.
SGA and Jamal over to Team North America would be an upgrade for sure.
Yeah, you're not wrong. So, the fun thing about the starters for this game, right? So we're looking at Team World here. It's going to be Shai, Jokic, Doncic, Wembanyama, and Antetokounmpo all starting for
Yeah,
the world. The problem here is Shai is the shortest player on that team, followed up by
6'6". Yeah.
Doncic, who 6'6", and then respectively 6'7", 6'8". And then if we look at the world team, led by good old Stephen Curry,
USA.
Cade Cunningham, Tyrese Maxey, Jalen Brunson, and Jaylen Brown.
And now that's not a shabby starting five, but when you look across the way,
the problem is they are all guard-ish type players, and their best starter is
6'6".
at 6'6".
Yeah, tallest. Yeah.
You know,
we'll have you know,
it's an idea, and I am here for it. Maybe Jokic and Doncic just have a good old time out there. Wemby's going to take it serious because that man is only serious.
He doesn't. Yeah,
But Jokic, Doncic, and Antetokounmpo, maybe they just mess around the whole time. That's the best hope.
Just play keep away.
That's the best hope you have to go out with.
Yeah. That promises to be a hilarious mismatch, and I do think that might end up being another one of those funny lopsided All-Star game scores.
Yeah, I liked what they were trying to do there because it was very similar to the Unrivaled, where you kind of build things up and then the fourth quarter really matters. Kind of have like little games within games so that you have everyone kind of playing.
And then get some more stakes again at the
Only
end
problem
of the game.
is both those games, the game is still, we're ending up near the 200s. Not ideal for a competitive spirit.
No, not particularly, but hard to incentivize hard work defense on a vacation weekend.
Yeah. Speaking of Unrivaled, while we're in the basketball world, haven't given much coverage on them, but they are kind of going towards the middle of their season now that we've had a lot of basketball played. There's no talks of WNBA contracts, so they've all really gotten to chill out and focus on them. Standings for these guys, what an interesting wrinkle here. We have the Laces, who were champions last year. The Rose were champions last year. Laces, who were trying to make their way in at the top at 4-1. Phantom, who were the worst team last year without a question, 4-2. Mist right behind them, who I think ended up fighting their way in somehow. 4-2. Breeze, who are the young guns, 3-2. Rose 3-3, kind of in the middle there. The Vinyl 2-4. The brand new Hive sitting at a 1-4, and the Lunar Owls, who were dominant 1-4.
The Lunar Owls, have completely flip-flopped from last season, where they were nearly untouchable.
Yeah, it kind of happens when you have the MVP, an MVP caliber missing from your team.
Yeah, for sure. And I think there were some other missing pieces and like shifting pieces on that roster as well. If I remember, I think Skylar Diggins is not playing this season.
Yeah, they shifted up all the rosters kind of got shifted up with the brand new teams coming in.
That is a new look roster over there. I saw an interesting stat about Paige Beckers in this first season of Unrivaled will be making the entirety of her NBA rookie contract just this one off season.
Yeah. She also just won $50,000 for a free throw competition they had, which was a nice little drop in the bucket, which is almost her rookie salary, a little bit less than her rookie salary.
The full year season. And it's just gonna be. I'm curious to see how long the WNBA is going to hold out before they roll out whatever, upgrade. Because I've also heard that's, again, it's at a bit of a standstill, but the big discussion now is sticking over whether you do the profit share off the gross or the net revenue.
You can't. Oh, that's a good question.
Because I think the league wants to do it off net. They're like, we have to pay our bills first. And the players are like, think again. Because if you keep claiming that paying the bills leaves your pockets empty, and then there's nothing left for the players. So we see how much money is coming in. We want that slice.
Yeah, it doesn't help.
We want our percentage off of that.
Does not help that the people negotiating contracts also are running a league on the other side here.
A very successful league where they are like have the experience of being able to know, like, hey, I know I can balance those books in a better, more efficient way, or that you can make this happen. So, we're not taking less than that.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, in hockey news, the Avs have wrapped up the homestand, the 7-game longest of the year homestand, in absolutely abysmal fashion.
Also, what the hell's up with all these middle of the day kind of games? I keep getting notifications that 1-3 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Absolutely wild scheduling.
We can't play during that time. That's not hockey time.
I don't know what the NHL was thinking this year. I've had at least 3 different Monday afternoon games for quote unquote holidays, I guess, but that like are not universally acknowledged holidays. So it's just afternoon hockey all of a sudden sometimes. But the 7-game homestand did not go well. In fact, I think over the last 9 games, the Avs are 3-3-2, or now 3-4-2, which is as many losses as we had in the first 45 games.
Keep doubling up our losses every time we come back here.
It's a little rough, but I mean the pace we were on was unsustainable, and despite this being by far the roughest part of the year, the most injuries we've had, we keep getting guys banged up. Ross Colton missed last night. Kiviranta's been up and down. We did make a little trade in the middle of this homestand as well. We sent 7th defenseman Ilya Solovyov out to Pittsburgh. Basically traded a 6th or 7th round prospect who's a borderline AHL, NHL guy traded a defenseman for a forward of the same caliber. But Pittsburgh gave us a draft pick to go with that. So huge win. Yeah.
We win.
Huge win on that. Wild upgrade in value for us on the return there. Despite all of that losing, the Stars and Wild stopped keeping pace with us before Christmas time. So we are still 10 points ahead in the standings of everyone else with 2 games in hand. 3 games in hand.
Not a bad place to be. And I mean, eventually, the Avs have been lucky enough this year. Not so lucky most of the other years where we haven't been hit by the bug, but now it's about time it comes on.
Yeah, the difference is we were starting seasons with a big list of guys we were just waiting to get healthy, and now it's been kind of middle of the year. You can kind of stagger them a little bit more. It's not everybody all at once, but we are coming up to, I believe we've got about 3 or 4 more games before we are fully at the Olympic break for the year, and then we, fingers crossed, everyone comes back healthy. That is sort of the big. My new ideal scenario is for Team Canada to get knocked out of the group stage and not even go to the medal round, so that they can send Nate and Kale home safe.
Yeah, that's not going to happen, especially the way they built that ring.
Yeah, probably not, but I can hope. Otherwise, the landscape around the league is a little bit wild. We know we've been on top, and I haven't really had to care about anyone else's standings, but we've had the Stars and the Wild kind of chasing us all year long, and then last year's President's Trophy winner, the Winnipeg Jets, are near the bottom of the league.
I was about to say, we're about to start a trend where the President Cup winner just implodes now.
The Rangers,
thanks to the Rangers.
The Rangers might have started a new trend, in regards to that President's Trophy. So that is
not ideal.
Not great if that holds, but so far that's only 2. That's not a trend yet. That's it's only 2 pieces of data.
It is, but then it comes to the questions what is a streak?
I think it's got to be at least 3.
Does it?
Yeah, but because 2 is just back to back.
Yeah, but you can have a 2-game winning streak.
I would call it back to back wins.
I feel like it's a streak.
It's technically
you can have a 1-game winning streak.
No, I would argue that.
If you look at the standings, that has streaks, and sometimes it's just one win.
They do list it that way, but that's not a streak.
So we're streaking.
To me, a streak has to require more than 1.
2 it is.
At the minimum. Other surprising people in the standings here, the Detroit Red Wings, who have
been abysmal for the past number of years.
Had a hard time even making the playoffs, currently sit 2nd in the East overall, just 1 point behind the Tampa Bay Lightning, who have been the hot team since the new year and have shot up back to the top of the standings there. They were in the middle of the pack for a long while as well. But that's no surprise. The Lightning still, again, very much very similar to us. They still have the core of what won their Stanley Cups, including the coaching staff. So we know that's a solid organization down there. The Golden Knights and Oilers have unfortunately, as predicted, floated to the top of the Pacific. As much fun as we had with the Ducks and the Sharks being hot for a little while, they're still Still little babies.
The Oilers need to be there. Like, need to.
They had an atrocious start to the year, and unfortunately, Connor McDavid did go on one of his unhuman, 30 points in 17 games or something.
He's like, all right, enough playtime.
I gave Nate a head start. Now here I come, essentially.
Enough playtime. I've had enough of this.
Yeah. They all also have been enjoying the benefits of their goalie upgrade.
It seems like to be an upgrade.
It's working out for them, and it could be just one of those things, a change of scenery helps immensely for both guys, because the Penguins are also second in the Metropolitan Division right behind the Hurricanes. They are a little bit further back of the Canes. The Canes are 6 points ahead of everyone else in their division, but...
Give Sid a chance one more time.
Actually, for our ideal Halifax reunion, we actually would like the Penguins to be doing worse. But Malkin and Crosby are good enough to still get you they're at 25, 14, and 11 now.
The old man's going to put it all out in the line at least one more time.
He might be a little hyped up for the Olympics this year, because this is going to be his last Olympics for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, before we leave hockey news, I also failed to mention in our coverage last week, we got to give flowers to Abby Murphy of the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Did you see the highlight play that she made?
I did not, but I also, Golden Gophers, we are in DU town here.
Yeah, well, if it were actually game time, I would be all about those Pios, but we were, a game-recognized game. That Minnesota program's no joke. Abby Murphy, playing for those Golden Gophers, it's now been about a week or so, pulled off a wild move to get a slam dunk assist in their game, where basically she dribbled the puck past the blue line between the defender. I did see this. And one-handed it over for a wide-open layup of a goal.
Yeah, I did see that, actually.
That I do have to call out, because that's going to be... You mark it down in the history books the same way that the Michigan became a style of play to make in the game when it was first pulled off in a game by Michigan in college. The Abby Murphy dribble move is now going to be implemented. I think Anze Kopitar already tried it this week against the Ducks, but did not complete the pass.
Wow.
But you're going to start seeing that. This is an evolution. This is a new... The offense has innovated a new weapon against the defense here, and it's dribbling the puck.
Can we add dribbling into hockey? You must dribble the puck down the ice.
It's not going to be, quite that. We'll see in maybe 5-10 years, when all the kids can dribble it now, and if you can't dribble, it makes you look old. It might be the new standard of play. The hand-eye coordination skills across the league are so much better than what they were in the 90s.
Yeah.
Of just guys being able to hit the puck out of midair at any height, any speed.
The skill in all sports today are ridiculous, because that's all they focus on, which potentially may cause some injuries, but, who knows?
Yeah, a little bit. All right. Well, I think that covers our non-football sports. So let's work our way to the meat. We'll start with reviewing the other games of the divisional round that have already come to pass, how we ended up with our AFC and NFC matchups, as it were, and we had a couple of real close nail-biter games and a couple of blowouts.
Yep.
Which one was the most agreed? That was probably the Seattle 49ers.
The Seattle one was a whooping.
Yeah. An opening kickoff touchdown that would have been the game-winning points already.
Just an absolute drubbing. For anyone who is a 49ers fan, I do apologize. I know you guys did everything you could and made it as far as you possibly could with the team that you had, but wow, that's a tough way to go out for anybody. The shades of the Tim Tebow playoff year, when we had the overtime win against the Steelers and then took that into an absolute ass whooping from the Patriots. Yep, not fun.
Which did lead to us changing up the quarterback situation. What was our other one on the NFC side? That was the Caleb Williams nearly did it again.
Yep, he tried to make fourth quarter magic, but he will not be overcome by or it was overcome by potential MVP, probably MVP Matthew Stafford over on the Rams side.
Yeah, an absolutely wild turn of events, and that one and our game were kind of the two highlights of the weekend for sure in terms of watching. I was watching that fourth quarter of that the Rams Bears game because the Bears were, what was it, down. They forced OT thanks to another fourth and 8 this time, I think, for Caleb Williams. Did literally one of the most ridiculous football plays I've ever seen.
Like I said, his draft class is just so good. Like Caleb Williams should playing this, or could have been playing this weekend in the championship. Jaden Daniel played last year in the championship. Drake May's playing this year in the championship. Bo Nix made his way there. We'll discuss that in a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, a hugely impressive talent out of that draft class, and on a 25-yard drop back run scamper to heave up a blind.
My man's over here playing Madden in the middle of the game.
Basically, 100%. Just, running away from the rushers and then throwing up a heave to the back corner of the end zone where, of course, his guy's wide open.
Hey, sometimes you just got to go to church.
It literally, as I was watching it live, I literally exclaimed, "Oh my God," out loud to an empty room because I could not believe what I had seen. And that's going to be, that's another market in the history books. The Bears fans will have that play for the rest of, that's going to be like their John Elway drive in Cleveland.
Kind of ish. Unfortunately, the drive does end up in a win. The Bears made it to overtime to not continue their season.
To then have an unfortunate, Caleb Williams did, end their season with an interception essentially, but the replays, there's a lot of flack thrown on the receiver for cutting his route a little short, not running it out. But it's also one of those, like, when you're playing with a quarterback who extends the play and like improvises so much, it's hard to practice for that.
Fair enough, yeah.
But yes, the Rams do come away with that one, 20-17. They do get the field goal in OT to take that one home. And then the other side, a little closer on the score than the 41-6 that Seahawks put up on the 49ers, but 28-16, the Patriots took care of the Texans. Rough day for CJ.
Yeah, that game was, the end result is closer than what the game felt. The first half was kind of ugly football, and then the Patriots turned it on a little bit, and I know it was 28-7 for a long time.
Yeah, I think that last score for the Texans came in kind of garbage time in the second half, because I don't think CJ was even finished the game.
Yeah, no, it was not a good time for
Four
Texans.
Interceptions,
especially after the week they had the last week against Steelers, where you're just feeling kind of on top of the world. Huge, big win, probably the biggest win in playoff this year thus far. Up until Seattle did their thing, but coming into that to kind of lay a little bit of an egg where you scored all your points for the playoffs there.
Yeah, unfortunately, one of those ones was like, we should have saved some of those.
Can we do a transfer?
That would be a fun mechanic to add.
Is there a rollover?
Yeah, right. I would like to. You'd have to call it before you score them, though. I think would be I bank this touchdown.
You can
don't put it on the board. Put it in our bank.
Yeah.
Oh,
that'd be so. Can you imagine? Right?
Touchdown bank.
Well, you have a touchdown bank,
bank,
but people are just getting murdered now because people are just storing touchdowns in their bank.
Yeah.
Oh God, no.
That'd be okay. Yeah, that's got me thinking of some fun ideas for game design. But before we get too excited with that, let us cover what was, I think, inarguably the best game of the weekend, which was the Buffalo Bills coming to, what are we now, Empower Field at Mile High?
Yes.
That's correct. For a showdown against Bo Nix and our best-in-class defense in what was a very good football game, very exciting. If you weren't a fan of one of these two teams, you probably had a great time not having a heart attack.
Yeah. This game was special one because that Bills team is scary, like we talked about last week. They have a lot of playoff experience. Josh Allen is somehow referred to Superman within the league, so Superman comes into town. That's not always a good thing, and is just
certainly it seemed like of the field of quarterbacks, Josh Allen should have been the most dangerous one. In the he's got the youth, but the experience. He's got lots of It used to, like, the idea was with no Mahomes on the field to worry about, this is their year.
This was the one. This is their chance. They don't even have to worry about the nightmare that the Chiefs have given them. It's all but a dream now.
And instead, a game that was, for those of us who are fans of the teams playing, an absolute nightmare of back and forth. We took a 20-10 lead into halftime, and those damn Bills came out and really rallied in the second half, including 13 fourth quarter points.
Superman took off the glasses.
But Bo Nix stood toe to toe with Josh Allen and kept us in that game. The late heroics, theatrics around the deep passes, very controversial flags and calls and no calls.
I mean, it's tough. I understand the way people feel, especially having been on the other side of some of the calls, but that's just kind of the way football goes sometimes.
Yeah, and like the big one. So Bo dropped that one to Marvin Mims. Beauty
in the bucket.
Yeah. 5-star pass. No notes. A beauty of a thing to watch. And I think that was the one that got us all tied up.
Yeah, because it was the Bills came down and threw basically the same exact touchdown to Dalton Kincaid. Like Josh Allen put it only where Dalton Kincaid can catch it right on his numbers, and Bo said, "Me too, man."
Yeah,
for Mims. So everything ended up all tied up.
That's right. Was it no T or before that drive when they had the pass interference?
The pass interference calls didn't really come in till the very end of OT there, when the Bills were trying to do everything in their damnedest to stay alive.
And then Jaquan McMillan with the clutch OT interception.
Yeah, again, this is one of the calls where it's like, I understand the way you feel, but also if we look at the rule book and what it states, it's very clear.
We all know it's very hard to tell what a catch is, but whatever the outcome of that play is, it was not going to be a Buffalo Bills catch.
No, not at all.
There was no universe in which that was a catch.
None at all. And I know everyone's like, well, why is the Devontae Adams one different? Because he's in the middle of making a football.
He's doing the moves,
Yeah, he doesn't have the ball.
Has already gained possession.
Yeah. All those things really matter.
Exactly. And all of that, yes, the big interception, which did lead to us getting the
thing about this game that upsets me the most is with us having, I think we finished with 5 or 6 turnovers.
Yeah,
it was a battle all the way through because there are 5 and 6 turnovers versus I think it was like the one they had, which was the interception.
No, Josh had 3. He threw 2 picks.
Well, I'm talking about our turnovers.
Okay.
I think Bo only had the 1 interception.
Yeah, Bo had 1 pick.
Yeah, and we tried to fumble it to them, but ultimately they were unsuccessful in recovering. But the turnover differential should have put the game away very early on.
We should have had that game a little bit more handily than it turned out.
Yes.
For sure. Playoff atmosphere, though, you kind of know they're going to go down to the wire and you're going to get the best from the other side. I think the biggest thing, though, in retrospect of the whole entirety of the game, outside of the Bo Nix injury at the end of actual play, was in a 3-point game, the free 3 points that Josh Allen gave us before halftime in his attempt at scrambling.
Yeah, I mean, that's another one where it's like Josh Allen usually doesn't fumble the ball because he is probably the biggest quarterback that's in the NFL. He's like Cam Newton, but can actually throw the ball much, much better.
Yep.
So, I mean, you don't expect him to fumble, and I know he doesn't expect him to fumble. Just a lucky break that I think it was Singleton who just got his wrist to drop the ball.
Was Singleton or Benito?
I think it was, I don't remember which. It might have been Benito coming from the back.
Because it was definitely like another one of those. Nick Benito's maybe going to get himself the DPO.
Yeah, I think it was Benito because they made him upset. He was angry.
Yeah.
For one of those.
The notion of them like running that play with like, what was it, like 16 seconds or something left?
Yeah, it's less than that. I think it was even like 9 seconds. I think they were just trying to run out the clock at that point, not throw an interception or whatever.
The Sean McDermott, before getting released by the Buffalo Bills the next day, did come out and say, I think he was like, yeah, we were trying to get a chunk play and get into field goal range, but...
Which is, I mean, I don't blame them because they are down. Like we said, they were down
by 10.
you need to do something at least to give yourself a little bit more momentum and a chance to come back in the second half like they ultimately did. But
it was 17-10. It would have 17-13 versus the 2010 potential flip there would have been huge. But yeah, so an all-timer of a game. Broncos move on. The Bills absolutely shattered. Literally a franchise that kind of seems like they may have had their hearts broken by this one.
Yeah, Josh Allen. Everyone I think cried for their presser. McDermott, like you said, got released. That whole organization's in a little bit of a disarray. At least this past week, they've done a bunch of weird things. Releasing McDermott, they somehow Bean ended up getting upgraded. He got a promotion on his job, blaming a lot of the players for some of the stuff. Weird stuff going on out there.
Yeah, a very strange atmosphere. And then I heard that the owner for the Bills is the same owner of the Buffalo Sabres. And that makes it a lot more sense. I saw an interesting take that I think is pretty apt. Is that Josh Allen is now the new Matt Stafford, waiting to be old enough now to get traded away for a last hurrah run somewhere else.
Yep, I would ultimately agree. I think the Bills unfortunately have been good enough, much better than Detroit ever was in Stafford's time, that I think he might be hostage there for what would be his whole career.
Definitely. I mean, I could see if there's like a good draft class that comes along or something and he's like 30 plus already.
I can't imagine, because even still then I just like, depends what is how he holds up over time is the ultimate thing. But like if he continues to play at this level, especially if they're ultimately getting some sort of winning record, 9-8 or whatever, finding a way into the playoffs, like you can't get rid of him quite yet.
Certainly you wouldn't think so, but
people have done crazier things.
Exactly. And then of course, yes, the most important play for our concerns here in Denver is the 2 plays before the end of the game when Bo Nix takes a roughing the passer
or on a scramble that you get nowhere.
Yeah. It was a roughing the passer and pass interference on the same call. We took the pass interference. Bo does the kneel to center up the field goal kick. We get the field goal kick, take the win. Bo goes out, does the handshakes, walks around on the field, feeling good in Broncos town. And then about 45 minutes after the end of the game, Sean Payton came out of the locker room to announce that Bo Nix's season was over and his ankle was broken and he was off to have surgery. And everyone in Broncos country said, wait, what?
Yeah, we win the game, but at what cost?
Basically. And that was not even, I mean, that was by far the biggest injury of the day, but also we lost a couple of receivers pretty early on, too.
Yeah, Pat Bryant was having a hell of a day for the first 3 catches of the game, all were his, and it really felt like...
It seemed like he was going to be a big part of the playbook.
He was a big part of the game plan. I am almost certain of that because little Jordan Humphrey ended up taking a spot and also making some big plays himself. But him having his head dribbled, unfortunately, off the cold, hard turf after being concussed already this year did him no favors.
Yeah, we will remember, of course, Pat Bryant did get blown the hell up at the end of, what was that, the Jaguars game?
Yep.
And yeah, only had recently come back into playing, so very unfortunate return to play for him. And then was it Franklin also went down?
Franklin also went down. He's had a little bit of he had a back issue last week, and he still seems to be lingering this week as well.
So that's going to be even shorter-handed on weapons. I think we also know now that J.K. Dobbins is ruled out.
J.K. Dobbins did make an appearance at practice. He did have a little bit of go, but ultimately he is ruled out for this week's game.
So Stiddy will have a tough hill to climb, but I think Jared Stidham is by far the best quarterback option of the many potential options that media outlets have imagined and researched into this week.
I agree there. I wish people would stop giving me hope. I don't want hope here. This game does not feel good to me. I've said it many times through many of texts and from in front of many people. It's just not good. We don't have our starting quarterback. The dude has not played we didn't have an opportunity to play a game yet.
Stiddy has no regular season passes in the past 2 years.
Yep, that's true. Actually, yeah,
It's all been preseason action.
yeah. So he hasn't played in a little bit. He does know the system, which is good, and
That's the
also
big value to me is he's embedded in the team.
our running game is all one note right now. With not ideal for me for any winning sort of circumstances, especially if our game plan is to come in here and we're just going to run the ball and maybe only make City pass when he has to. It's going to be like every third down. It kind of feels like.
See, I think it's going to be a little different. I think Sean Payton probably has a little bit of a different overall game plan for Stiddy as the QB, knowing that the running game is what it is. Like, it is still probably going to be attempt to be as run dominant as possible. But I do think the biggest analysis I saw, like in terms of differences between Bo and Stiddy, outside of ceiling of talent level, is that Stiddy, he has some legs, but he's more likely going to
He's in the pocket.
Yeah, he's going to stay in the pocket. He's got the arm. He's got the accuracy to make those mid to deep throws. So I think those are going to get peppered in there. I think the outside, obviously not our A plan on offense, but the fact that everyone else has been preparing for our A plan on offense does give us a little bit of an advantage in terms of they're not entirely sure what we're going to roll out this week.
No one has any clue, especially me here, and I've been nothing but negative all week long ever since I got the report that there is going to be no Bo Nix. It feels like no Nix, no hope, especially without JK out there for sure.
Definitely the cards are stacked against us,
and let me hear the extra caveat on this is everyone's like, well, you got a really good defense. Our defense is letting people score so much on us right now.
This has been the most porous the defense has looked over these last 4 weeks of games, for sure.
Not ideal. Ever since we've had the bye, it's not been quite the same.
Pass rush has been a little they're still getting their sacks, but it's not quite as deadly as it was at the peak of the season. The Patriots love to choke a game against the backup QB, though.
Yeah, unfortunately, Stidham has an extra level to him that's like mystical and magic. I don't know how he reaches it. Like the Raiders game, he threw some 300 some yards. I think he did a game with 200 plus for us.
There are Stiddy highlights out there.
Yeah, he has one good game in him. Unfortunately, if it is this one, I don't know what that says for the next one.
It would be a little wild, but imagine the story of the backup QB who took his team to the Super Bowl.
That's Nick's full story already. There's a lot of other stories about. There's stories happened so many other times. But unfortunately, those dudes have some real play under them that is in regular season. This dude is coming so rusty and dry off the bench,
which is what will make it the unique story. Speaking of memorable football stories, though, college football championship happened this week. How familiar were you with Indiana football before any of the playoffs this week?
I've been a little familiar. I mean, they've been talked about kind of, I wouldn't say ad nauseum, but they've been noted throughout the past couple of years as they've been elevating their program. I know their QB is he's the Heisman winner this year, so nothing to sneeze at there, and also potentially the first overall draft pick. So we will see him as a Raider potentially. But I'm aware.
Okay, very good. Well, I was not, so I did a bunch of research on this because for the Indiana football fans out there, this is their 2001 Avs Stanley Cup. For me, this is their 1997, this one's for John, Super Bowl. The program that before the previous season, the 24-25 season, was the losingest college football program in history. They'd been playing since the 1890s in organized college football. And over that time, since 2023, had accumulated 6 wins in their conference. 6 wins against Big Ten teams.
Not ideal.
They had eclipsed that mark just this season with just the 6 games they played. The turnaround under coach Curt Cignetti is absolutely bonkers. And this is the thing I want to talk to you about. A very unprecedented for the Heisman Trophy winner to be the starting quarterback on an undefeated team that goes from worst to best in 2 seasons to take home the national championship, breaking all sorts of school records, setting all sorts of new highs for them. It guaranteed this will be a movie at some point.
I mean, it has all the writings of Disney. So the fun thing about this one, right, is on the Indiana team, we have Mendoza, who everybody knows, loves. I think it's Marcus Mendoza, if I remember correctly.
Fernando
Mendoza.
I think Marcus is his brother.
Marcus is his younger brother, who's been his backup all season long.
Yes.
His younger brother, which is like, when does that ever happen?
Yeah, how often do you get the brothers on the same team, and then to be the 1 and 2 quarterbacks?
Yeah, special story for him to win with his brother, who is ultimately transferring out of there to go, I assume, start somewhere else, because I think he
did. Yeah,
I think that they are a more notable place that you may want to go play football now. So the recruits are going to be a little bit better coming in these days.
And now, for those who are unfamiliar, I would say that there are potentially 3 different storylines that you could follow in a 2025-26 Indiana Hoosiers football movie. There is just the story of the football team itself, the program for the school where they are. Again, they were the worst football team in college football, most losses ever. I think before that, their best winning percentage was 40% on a season for a coach or something.
They're not a football school.
Not a football school by any means. And in hiring a new coach, Curt Cignetti immediately flips them to winning record. They went 10 games in a row undefeated last season before finally dropping. I think they dropped a couple at the end of the year, but went to a bowl game, got their first playoff berth, and then didn't quite. I think they got beat by Notre Dame last year.
They did. Their story was so close to being written. Everyone was rooting them on.
That first year would have been the extra sauce on this to make it like a pure slam dunk. It's one of those stories that's so storybook, it sounds unreal.
I like this story better, one, because it's almost like a redemption story as well. You get all your sappy movie tropes from a Hallmark movie here with us. You got the brothers, you have the redemption arc, we have the underdog of the country boys, and all of it.
All of it. So then, yes, they did come back for this season and went a perfect 16-0, not done since 1894.
Yep, very few do it nowadays, especially as the NCAA sports get spread out a little bit with all the NIL money, because everyone wants to get their bag up.
Yeah. So that's just the program itself, and then you have the quarterback angle. Fernando Mendoza. He's this not like super. He wasn't like a 5-star high school prospect or anything, but he went to a couple different schools and just started playing not great, not eye-poppingly oh man, this kid's gonna be the number 1 pick in the draft, but he gets wins. And then when he transfers over to Illinois or Indiana,
the other state,
with the new coach, all of a sudden it's bang, bang, bang.
Magic clicks. Everything clicks and it's magic.
And then, because again, how often does the Heisman winner go on to win the national championship? Very rarely.
It's happened a couple times.
It's definitely not unprecedented, but it's not the norm.
It's not yet. Kind of like winning the President's Trophy and the team.
Exactly. So he gets the Heisman recognition, not only does he get his team into the big game for the national championship, makes the highlight play himself. I'm sure if you were a football fan, you probably saw his little scramble where he steps up in the pocket, rolls off of a potential tackle at the line, and then the full 2-hand extended dive over the goal line to cement himself into that school's history forever.
He's immortal.
Yeah, 100%. And then, has announced now that he will declare for the draft this coming year and immediately does become the number 1 quarterback prospect.
So we will see you in Vegas.
Yeah. And then, I don't know how much you know about Curt Cignetti, the coach.
I've heard the name. I've kind of seen his story pop up a little bit more now that he's won a national championship. He was somewhere else before Indiana a couple years ago that was also a decent team, but
so his coaching pedigree is insane. knowing how we do that there are lots of coaching positions out there in the world, and
The
that
tweet.
a lot of most programs aren't winning programs. Like, it's pretty hard for you to have a winning record consistently
Yeah.
in the college game. Kurt Signetti's career record, 146-37.
That is a lot of winning.
That is like an 80% win percentage. He made the news when he first signed on at Indiana to start their program. As his quote was, when people are like, "What do you bring to the program?" His quote was, "I win. Google me."
Fair. Hey, not wrong.
And has evolved into the pop culture character that everyone has agreed that Kurt Signetti embodies the most is Bob from The Incredibles, his angry little insurance boss. That's what Kurt Signetti looks like when he's coaching on the sidelines. Same hair if he's got the glasses on, same grumpy expression and everything. But he comes from his first like big college thing was he was the wide receiver and recruitment coordinator for Nick Saban at Alabama.
Which is usually a good start to have, and a lot of people go on there and usually are successful-ish.
Yeah, so that's where he got. He was part of that, coaching tree, and then became a head coach over at NC State, the Wolfpack, where he was coach for both Phillip Rivers and Russell Wilson.
Good place to be.
And then went over to first Elon University. They're in a conference with James Madison. He took Elon and gave them their first winning season in forever. And then James Madison got beat by him in their bowl game or whatever and said, "We'll hire you over here to do that for us.
We will give you more money to do that."
And so he went to James Madison for 4 years and did the exact same thing he does at every stop along the way. He just wins. He lost the first game of the season at James Madison and then went undefeated for about 20 games.
He said, "Enough of that."
Yep. And then after that run, the coaching opening happened at Indiana, and that's where he is now, where he is currently, I believe, 31-2 as a head coach there.
Yeah, not bad.
Absolutely insane. Obviously, he won Coach of the Year last year just for the turnaround because Indiana had never had a 10-win season before.
Winning is not something that they were used to.
It was an unprecedented amount of success for that program. And then to take him back for a perfect season, who else do you give Coach of the Year to?
The fatigue. I'm feeling fatigued. I'm pretty sure when he was over at James Madison, I think that this was before we expanded the bracket and all that he was trying to find his way in there. And
it was actually, he took James Madison from out of one, like the subdivision up into the college, like the playoff level division, like D1, I guess. So and that is generally also like a huge hurdle for most college programs to climb when they change or move up a division. It's like, if we were winning down here, we're probably gonna be like maybe 500 at best now.
No. This guy just went. You don't understand.
So he brought his favorite James Madison players with him to Indiana and rebuilt them from the ground up. It is, just wild to me. So this turn of events got me thinking about other classic sports movies and the movies that are based on true stories, very specifically, and their difference from because there's like 3 different types of sports movies in general. I'm generalizing here, but there are the purely fiction, like this is just a story that happens to be about sports, about teams that aren't real or players that aren't real. There are the documentaries on the complete opposite side where you are...
This is very real.
Factually telling, the real story with the people who are involved or witnesses to it with corroborating evidence. And then there are the based on true stories, sports stories, where...
It falls kind of between the two.
Things were, these were real people and real events, some of them that happened, but also... we just tweaked it a little to make it a better story.
We want this to be more dramatic.
So I was curious, off the top of your head, do you have a favorite one of those based on a true story movies? And also, do you have a preference of those three categories? Do you prefer a documentary, the fictionalized, real quote unquote stories, or just straight up fiction?
So Coach Carter is my favorite based on a true story. There's a couple other ones.
I'm gonna have to Miracle,
Yeah,
obviously,
obviously for
for
certain we
hockey nerds.
fall in our categories here.
Yep.
Um, I think I it's tough to say. Like I've seen there are some really 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 good documentaries out there, and then there's some that are just like a little bit overplayed and do nothing for me. But there's also like the Coach Carters, the Miracles, the not long yard, Gridiron Gang type of stories
Mm-hmm.
based on true stories that are really impeccable. So I don't know. Depends on how good the movie and thing is. That
And
I
this
will
is
say, I think overall the fictional stories are probably my favorite because then you can get into the Longest Yards, your Happy Gilmores, where it's just kind of a fun
yep.
little story.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to do. The hardest one to do is the based on true to make it a good story.
There's definitely those most generally populate the like straight to DVD style of movie where it's like we took this feel good high school story or something, and but then there are a few that do break out. Like Remember the Titans for me is also up
It's up
there.
there.
Yeah, Coach Carter for the basketball is pretty good.
Remember the Titans, Coach Carter's, the Gridiron Gang based on a true story. Uh, Hoosiers is about Indiana basketball.
Yep.
Uh, the
Oh,
Marshall, we are Marshall.
uh, the other weird category of the based on true story movie is the ones that are based on people who are still alive, like Moneyball, for
Moneyball,
instance.
yeah,
Where and that one's a little less like the sports is sort of adjacent to
the story that's happening, but sports are happening.
but it is based in the sports world, and it is with people who were real players and whatnot, but we are getting dramatized versions of it.
Yeah,
For me, I don't know. It's what because I do love like Miracle, obviously favorite hockey movie, but there is like I don't know if I'm conflicted about knowing that like the dramatized version is not the act like that's a sort of fairy taleization of what actually occurred. And in certain cases it's like does that help or does that kind of lessen the impact for like the people who were actually affected by it? Like I wonder if um if they made a movie about my 2001 Avs or whatever, and Ray Bork getting to lift the cup, would the movie version make me feel as good as having lived through the actual events?
yeah, I don't disagree that. I think you kind of can see a little bit from both sides. Like, I think Moneyball did something for a lot of different sports people. There wasn't like revolt against it, I guess.
Oh
Like,
yeah, there wasn't a lot of like blowback and
yeah,
like
not a huge blowback or anything like that. Or you can go completely left and you have something like The Blind Side, where this dramatized story is maybe not at all.
now that's a great point to bring up. The Blind Side, yes, which is one where in fact it may be harmful to the real life person it is supposed to be depicting.
Potentially.
He is in fact suing the Sandra Bullock in his life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very interesting one as well, and has that level of like, is there like an exploitation thing to it? Um, it's just a very interesting, and I don't know if there's like a right or wrong answer to it. It's all very kind of like case by case on, you know, it's one of the things that I think I makes me appreciate the fully fictional movies a little bit more, where you can I think those movies get to break out of the story formula a little bit more. One that came to mind for me that I had to like double check on whether or not it was based on real things was Sugar.
Mm.
And, it's a baseball one that follows, I believe, a Dominican immigrant and his journey through trying to make it through minor league ball and, being by himself in a brand new country with all the language barrier and all the difficulties that come with that. Uh, it's a story that tells like such a relatable and resonating version of like this very true experience of baseball, but it is a fictional person.
Yeah, I mean it's hard, right? Because if we're doing based on a true story, we are sort of have to take ourselves and put our well, we're not removing ourselves from true life. Like we have to believe that these events actually happen and sort of fit the narrative. But if you're in a fictional world, you can kind of be a little bit looser and let your imagination explore a little bit.
Because there's this funny counterintuitive thing of like we talk about it in sports a lot of like, oh, this feels like scripted, or oh, the story writers on this season are going crazy. But in reality, like when you are trying to write a story, sometimes you have to make it less like you have to make it things less storybook. Like things can't go so perfectly for a team or something. You have to give them more hardships than what actually happened. And in that way, like when you are fully fictionalized, sometimes to make it feel more human, you have to add like more of those elements of flaws and things. But then that breaks the expectation of what we actually see in sports sometimes.
Yeah.
It's a wild thing. And I guess another thing that also, in terms of media literacy, that maybe not everyone understands the distinct differences between those three categories of movies, and that there's a reason they have to put the disclaimer based on a true story.
Because some of these events may or may not have happened.
Exactly, yeah. So don't think that those ones are the same as the documentaries.
No, they are not.
42 is not quite the same as an actual Jackie Robinson documentary.
No, that is not Jackie Robinson. That is the Black Panther.
Indeed. So yeah, that was kind of my big meat to chew on for this week. Was that we will definitely be getting that Indiana storybook movie now. I think also a big part of it, the like variables on it, will be what Fernando Mendoza's NFL career does look like. Like we get a few more years.
I don't even know if you need to.
You can already do the college version, but like a Mendoza movie might get its own like.
Potentially,
is the national championship the big win in Act 3, or is it like a highlight of Act 1 and there's a lot more movie to come?
Unsure. Well, I guess we'll have to see how he does in what I assume will be the black and silver.
Yeah, probably.
I am curious though. Like, I've been going through my head and sort of a list, and I don't know if any of the based on true stories beat any of the fictional out for like my favorite. Even if we go like sports category by sports category,
it's. The purely fictional sports movies have some real hard hitters. Like Hustle would be in that category, which is.
You've watched that, right?
I did sit down and watch that one. That's again, it paints this very real picture of like what it would be like to be a scout in the NBA, but is fictional.
Yeah.
There is no Stanley Sugarman.
No.
Even though Adam Sandler does a very good job with it, but yeah, I don't know. Any other like, because yeah, I guess the hockey world doesn't have as much. Our purely fictional one is the Mighty Ducks.
You have Goon.
Goon is there too. That's a little bit more niche somehow, though. That didn't quite get as wide release to the public.
Yeah, but I like basketball. It's hard to like basketball. I don't know if there is a better basketball movie than Coach Carter. So that might be the only exception. Like when it comes to football, you have so many different other hard hitters.
The
longest yard. You have your any given Sundays.
All your tragedy one, like We Are Marshall.
Yeah, like I don't know if those. Well, We Are Marshall is based on a true story, but I don't know if.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if any of the based on true stories beat any of the fiction ones. Baseball is sort of the same thing. You got your Sandlots. What's the Charlie Sheen one?
Major League,
which is like classic.
Yeah. Rookie of the Year.
Rookie, is that the one where he gets the
the kid with the broken arm? Yeah.
You have The Natural.
Mm-hmm. But then you also have the real one, The Rookie, which is the Kevin Costner one, where he's like the high school coach that has to try out, and then they make him look so old when he's like a 32-year-old debuting.
He is old because isn't he in Bull Durham too or something like that?
Yeah. He for sure is, but Yeah, it's just an interesting bit of media critique there to look at the uh,
Sport. I will say the sports movie is probably one of the harder movies to do because we consume it so much as an American media.
like you
Well,
said,
even more than American media.
yeah, for sure. It is very fertile ground. It's very easy to make a bad sports movie that is just tropes, 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 and that is the challenge to it is finding a unique angle that is still a satisfying arc of development some way, but is still interesting and entertaining and has the twists and turns you want. And yeah, there's a map you're supposed to kind of follow, but you also need to break away
Yeah,
from
you
it.
can't follow it too closely.
If you follow it too close, that's also not good. Yeah, tricky stuff. Hopefully, we know this one's coming, and I'm sure there will be many more to look forward to in the future.
Yeah, very much.
That was all I had for this week. Do you have anything else we need to cover?
Yeah, I wanted to finish up our sports category with a funny little tidbit that I learned about sports. So, as we've been talking about in the NFL, everyone's been getting fired from their jobs. So, a lot of coaches' openings to be had and whatnot. I'm going to put you in the place of you get to be a professional coach today.
Hot damn.
You're in your Madden. You get to be the head coach of the team.
Okay.
You do have to interview for these teams, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is one team in particular where not only do you have to interview, you have to do a personality test, and you have to do an essay and potentially some extra homework and written tests.
Oh boy. It feels like I'm getting ready to apply to college.
A little bit there, and not only does this happen during the first round, but any continual rounds you have to do more testing and homework and stuff like that.
That's kind of wild. I assume this is coming from the ownership.
Yes, it is. In
Okay,
fact, yes, it is.
wonderful.
We'll discuss which team here in a second, but
Yeah.
is this a job that you are going to continue to keep your hat in and apply to, or is this just all too much?
Unless this is the team that I have dreamed of coaching for my entire life, if this is not my dream job, not a chance I do this.
I don't know if this is anyone's dream job, but a lot of coaches have pulled their hats out of the ring because they said, "Really?
Because if this is the only team like having this, it's like
It is the only team that does this."
Yeah.
Because most of the teams, right? You come and we're going to sit down and we are spending 1 to 2 days with you, just interviewing, trying to get to know you, giving all your ideology and whatnot.
Yeah, it's more of a conversation about covering the ground of those topics than making me do the work of writing essays and crap.
Yeah, unfortunately, the team that we are speaking of is so data driven that they would much prefer, I assume, probably some AI stuff to say, is this guy going to work out for us? And they maintain some sort of like data library of all the stuff that they are looking for.
Interesting. I mean, there is also the side of being too data driven.
That
sure.
can be a problem because unfortunately the data is not always true when it comes to a human factor of things.
Yes, the fallibility of humans. We are not robots. We are not repeatable.
If everything was
carbon
on
copy.
Yeah, if everything was on paper, it'd be all right.
Yep.
But that's just not how life and sports work in particular, which is why people enjoy them because you never know what's going to come out. Any guesses as to who this team potentially may or may not be?
I want to say it's an egomaniac like Jerry Jones, but I don't think he has the wherewithal to be bothered to read all this stuff.
You'd be correct.
Okay. Then this is probably who else has crazy billionaire? I mean, Buffalo's up there. Would this or is this an East Coast team?
Yes.
Okay. Is this? I'm trying to think who else has opening. Is the Falcons over there?
Not the Falcons. Falcons do not have an opening anymore. They did hire Kevin Stefanski from the Cleveland Browns. Who is this team? The Browns are this team. That was
okay.
Yeah, the Browns are the ones that are making people do all of this.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's makes sense.
Yes, and like I said, no one really wants this job anymore. And unfortunately, if you are correct, if this is your Your dream job.
Yeah, that's the only way I would be going through all those hurdles of like, yeah, I gotta be the head coach.
I don't know many people who have said, you know what my real dream job is to go do something out in Cleveland.
No, that's never happened once ever. Also hilarious because the results kind of speak for themselves in terms of how well that data-driven analysis is going over there.
Yeah, they have had, I think in the past week, 3 or 4 different coaches pull out and said, you know what, I think I'd rather go be an offensive coordinator or literally anything else.
I will take less money and less responsibility to work literally anywhere else. That is hilarious and does fully check out. Poor Shador.
Yeah, you're just trying to find a guy that likes him, but no one likes his job.
Yeah, that's not gonna. Because it's that wild thing of like, it'd be one thing if it was like the Patriots or something. It's like we have the pedigree of and the man, or like the Steelers could maybe get away with that, I would say. But the Browns do not have it. The Browns should be having a job interview with the Browns should include fresh baked cookies, a masseuse. You should be like trying to wine and dine any head coach candidate who's willing to pop a resume in your inbox.
That's the crazy thing with me is like, imagine there's this excellent coach out there, you're Mike Tomlins of the world, and you're like, well, we'll come interview you, but you got to do all this stuff.
Here's what we expect. Yeah.
That is psycho.
No one is going to. The only way you're getting a quality coach is someone who, like, if Bill Belichick had been like, I've conquered all of the challenges of running a team.
He's already run the Browns, which is crazy.
It's also hilarious. It wasn't very good at that over there.
Before we had all the data-driven stuff.
But like a coach of that caliber of like, I've won all my championships. I have nothing left to prove other than I can take the worst team in the league and make them something.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I think,
and then that you're like, thank you for gracing us with your talent, and yes, we will roll out the red carpet and anything you need, sir. Please save us from ourselves.
Yeah, I think all of their short list that they have left has only been described as the most brilliant coaches there possibly are, because they're the only ones who will put up with the tasks of doing what they're asked.
Yeah, and that's also going to be a very specific, like, doesn't matter if about your personality test, because you're already filtering people out just with the requirements to apply. Like, only, some neurotic nerds are going to be willing to do homework.
It'd be so hilarious. They're like, well, we don't want someone like too neurotic to coach this team. It'd be like, all
the ones who were not that neurotic have passed up on your wildly neurotic checklist for application here.
Oh no, this guy's a sociopath. We may know he might be perfect here.
Give him a chance. Let him cook.
But that is all I have for our big sports news this week.
Very good. Well, hopefully as we finish up January here, our wider cultural events will happen, but in general, the news out there ain't very good.
Not yet. We don't have any we're getting little tidbits and trailers of a bunch of things that are soon to come.
And we've got those Olympics to look forward to here in the very near future. So a lot more sports talk as per usual. We'll have to figure out how we're going to cover those Olympics, because we could just talk for 2 hours about all the events.
I'm still waiting to see if they finish construction.
Yeah. Part of the events will be the 100-meter dash for the construction workers to try and pave the roads.
That is paving as they're running.
Yep. That is a potential. So, very good. To wrap us up then, Zach.
Thank you guys for coming along. Of course, if you're listening, you found us here on the Spotify or the Apples or potentially our YouTube or from the website where we've directed you to one of those places, if not multiple of those places. If you would please do so, give us the like, subscribe if that applies there, or follow. 5-star ratings always good. We do enjoy all the comments and whatnot, especially if you'd like us to discuss something or you have a different take than us. Please do chime in. This, of course, has been 321 Presents. I have been your co-host here, Zach, along with the host with the most this week, Nick.
Hey.
We will see you guys next week for a whole bunch more sports coverage and a bunch of other media coverage that is soon to come.
Adios.